The Lagos sun beat down mercilessly, mirroring the confusion in Amaka's heart. Adesuwa, her closest friend, the woman whom she had shared secret with, had become the source of her deepest betrayal. It all started with a well-meaning gesture. Adesuwa, who had lost her job at her bank down the street. Tears streamed down her face as she poured words into Amaka's ear when they were having hibiscus tea. Amaka, a woman who saw the good in everyone, didn't hesitate. "Don't worry, Daisy," she said, using Adesuwa's childhood nickname. "You can come and stay with us, me and my husband. We have an extra room and you can focus on your searching for another job." Adesuwa's eyes, usually gleaming mischievously, showed a hint of something Amaka couldn't understand. Maybe it was gratitude? Adesuwa came closer, laughing loudly in the quiet house where Amaka and her husband Amaka lived. Amaka, who was usually serious but kind, was drawn to Adesuwa's lively personality. She brought excitement into their peaceful life, and she cooked fancy meals and shared stories that would make both of them laugh. Amaka enjoyed their friendship without realizing what was happening between Amaka and Adesuwa. As time passed, Adesuwa got a new job and even got promoted, but she continued staying around Amaka's home. Amaka was busy with her successful catering business, and she didn't really notice anything changing. Amaka started coming home late from work more often, and he smelled a different scent that Amaka didn't know. One hot night, Amaka couldn't sleep. She heard some sound coming from the bathroom, and she got up to go and check. Her heart raced as she noticed a light under the bathroom. Nervously, she turned the doorknob. What Amaka saw shocked her deeply. Amaka was standing in front of her without a shirt and a towel loosely wrapped around his waist. Adesuwa was wearing a red silk dress and was touching Amaka's chest and laughing, but there was something sinister in her laughter. Amaka felt a mix of disbelief and anger swelling inside her. "Leave!" she shouted, her voice cutting through the night like a sharp blade. Everything froze. Amaka turned around and went to get his bathrobe. He looked guilty and scared. Adesuwa's fake smile even vanished, revealing her true intention. At that moment, Amaka realized that Adesuwa wasn't her friend anymore. She was like a dangerous snake hiding in their home. In the days that followed, there were lots of fights, tears, and blaming. Amaka begged for forgiveness, saying that it was because Adesuwa had been making advances toward him. Adesuwa, boldly denying everything, acted as if she hadn't done anything wrong. Amaka, who always saw the good in people, finally realized the truth. She had trusted them blindly, but now she felt deeply betrayed. She kicked Adesuwa out, feeling the weight of betrayal on her heart. But the hardest part was dealing with Amaka. Their love, which used to be strong, was now broken. Days turned into weeks, and the house felt quiet and empty. Amaka even tried to make things right by bringing flowers and cooking fancy meal, but it only reminded Amaka of how far apart they had grown. One evening, Amaka came across an old photo album hidden away. Looking at the pictures, it brought back memories of laughter and joy. She saw her and Adesuwa when they were teenagers, dreaming big dreams. Tears filled her eyes and she remembered the good times. How could she have missed the signs of trouble? The anger she felt before turned into a deep sadness. Amaka decided that it was time to talk to Adesuwa, not to get answers but to find closure. But Adesuwa wasn't easy to find. As week turned into months, Amaka, feeling heavy-hearted, started the process of getting a divorce. Emeka, though he was reluctant, he finally agreed to it. Life suddenly changed unexpectedly. Amaka bakery business had now started thriving. She was becoming successful. Her cakes, inspired by her experiences, became very popular. Her strength, fueled by her mix of anger and sadness, made her even more creative. But a part of her still missed having some laughter. One rainy afternoon, someone came to Amaka's bakery. It was Adesuwa, but she looked sad and tearful, not like her usual self. She told Amaka everything, crying as she spoke. Adesuwa said that she didn't mean to hurt Amaka, but jealousy had made her to do those things to her. Amaka listened quietly, feeling sad. Even though Adesuwa was sorry, it couldn't fix what had happened. Amaka knew forgiving wasn't easy, and she wasn't ready for it yet. But seeing Adesuwa so broken, she felt a little sorry for her. Adesuwa seemed different without her faked acts, not like the friend Amaka used to know. "I can't forget what happened, Daisy," Amaka said calmly. "I can't trust you like before." Adesuwa tried to hold back her tears. "I get it. I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry." Amaka nodded, feeling a bit better. "Thanks for telling me, but you have to leave now." Adesuwa left, her eyes filled with tears like the rain outside. Amaka watched her go, feeling a mix of sadness and relief. Forgiving might take time, but she knew she had to start by letting go of the past. A few weeks later, a new person came into the bakery. A tall, dark man with kind brown eyes introduced himself as Simon. He was an architect and needed a cake for his housewarming party. While his cake was being decorated, him and Amaka chatted. Unlike Emeka, Simon wasn't just interested in Amaka's success. He saw Amaka as a person recognizing her strength despite the tough times. They talked easily, sharing jokes and dreams. Amaka slowly started to open up again, feeling safe with Simon's understanding. Simon became a source of hope in Amaka's lonely heart. One night, Simon took Amaka on a date. As they sat at the balcony drinking champagne, Amaka told Simon about what had happened with Adesuwa and how much it hurt her. Simon listened carefully, comforting Amaka with her presence. "You are really strong, Amaka," Simon said gently. "What happened doesn't define you. It's like a scar, but it doesn't make you less valuable." Amaka looked at Simon, feeling grateful for his support. In Simon's eye, she saw respect, not pity. Even though the pain from Adesuwa's betrayal was still there, it didn't control her anymore. Their relationship started to blossom slowly. There was no grand gestures, no desperate attempts to erase the past. They built their connection on shared laughter, quiet evenings spent gazing at the stars, and they looked at each other in a romantic manner. Amaka had already started falling in love with Simon. One fine afternoon, as Amaka was working on a wedding cake, she received a call from an unknown number. Hesitantly, she picked it up, thinking that it was one of her customers. "Amaka?" It was Emeka, his voice lifted with nervousness she hadn't heard in years. "Emeka," she acknowledged, a knot forming in her stomach. "Listen," he rushed on. I know this might seem strange, but I just want to say congratulations. Congratulations, Amaka frowned. On your upcoming wedding, Emeka clarified. A wave of nausea washed over her. Was he getting married? To who? Emeka, it's Simon, isn't it? He interrupted in a hint of sadness in his voice. I saw their announcement in Instagram. I'm happy for you, truly, Emeka said. Amaka's heart hammered against her rib. An announcement? There was no announcement. Emeka must have seen them together and misinterpreted their closeness. Emeka, there is no wedding, she explained, her voice being shaky. Simon and I we are together. There was a long pause on the other end. Then a soft knuckle escaped Emeka's lip. Just together, huh? Well, good. You deserve happiness, Amaka. More than anyone, the call ended, leaving Amaka breathless. A few days later, while delivering a cake to a high-end hotel, Amaka bumped into Adesuwa. She stood frozen, her eyes wide with a mixture of shock and something akin to fear. Amaka held Adesuwa's gaze, a lifetime of unspoken words hanging heavy in the air. Adesuwa opened her mouth to speak, but Amaka simply shook her head and walked away. She didn't need apologies or justification. She had already moved on. Later that night, as they walked through the busy street of Lagos, with colorful city lights overhead, Amaka held Simon's hand. It was quiet promise amidst the city's noise. Life wasn't perfect, but it belonged to them. Amaka learned that forgiveness isn't always loud, but sometimes it's about moving forward gracefully with an open heart. Even when love surprises you, they looked ahead to their future, ready to create their own story filled with dreams, laughter, and the comfort of each other's companies. Years later, Amaka's bakery had now become famous, a cozy place for delicious desserts and friendly chats. The sound of laughter filled that bakery, showing how far they had come. Simon, who was once their customer, was now dating Amaka. One day, a young woman came in looking anxious into Amaka's bakery, holding a paper, and her tears were filled in her eyes. As Amaka listened to her story of a broken friendship, she felt a connection. Though the woman wasn't Adesuwa, her words reminded Amaka of her own past. Amaka smiled kindly and offered the woman a cup of hibiscus tea, the same tea that had marked both pain and a fresh start for her. As the steam rose, it brought a sense of comfort, a safe place that the lady could share her feeling, and the possibility of her starting afresh again. Forgiveness wasn't easy, but Amaka advised her to do the same. And the lady listened to her and she thanked Amaka for advising her. The following day, Amaka had been invited to go and advise people on how to start their own businesses. She talked about her journey from feeling the way she started low and her past made her this successful. She was honest, sharing about times when she was hurt by others, doubted herself, and then succeeded. The people in the audience, both young men and women, they listened carefully. They saw Amaka as someone who had been through tough times but didn't give up. Her words, filled with truth and openness, really touched them. Life can be tough, she said confidently, but it's how you deal with problems that show who you are. Don't let bad things stop you. Use them to make yourself stronger. A young woman in the back of the room raised her hand. But What if someone you trust hurts you? How can you trust them again? Amaka smiled, understanding what she meant. Trust is precious, she said. It takes time to build back up, and it's okay to be careful. But remember, there are good people out there. Don't let those who have been bad to you stop you from finding real connections. Amaka looked at Simon sitting in the front row, feeling proud. Their relationship had grown into a happy marriage, showing how love and support can make a difference. When Amaka finished talking, everyone clapped loudly. She felt proud and happy. She wasn't just sharing her story, but she was inspiring others to overcome their problems. Later, a woman came up to her, and it was Adesuwa. Times hadn't been going easy on her, and she had lost her job again. Amaka, she whispered, I am sorry. I know saying sorry can't fix everything, but I wanted you to know. Amaka stopped her gently. You don't have to apologize, Adesuwa. We both made choices. You made yours, and I made mine. What is important now is moving forward. Adesuwa nodded, tears in her eyes. They understood each other without words, knowing that forgiveness wasn't needed for healing. Amaka smiled. The pain from the past would always be there, but it didn't control her anymore. She had become stronger and wiser. She decided to forgive her friend Adesuwa and to move on. Adesuwa was very happy, and she was teary that time. A few months later, Amaka's belly had already grown big. She was expectant. They decided to go to their baby moon at the coast. She was now ready to start a new chapter in her life with her new husband, Simon. Their life was filled with hope, strength, love, trust, and they had a really deep connection towards her. They gave birth to a bouncing baby girl, and they named her Miracle because she was a miracle to them. That's the end of my story. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Subscribe for more stories and tell me if I should have a part 2 of this story. Bye.